Alright, welcome everybody to a new replay review on the channel. We are going to be looking at this game. It was submitted by Dr. Bonertron here as the red player, so we'll be considering from the red perspective here. So Bonertron is an 1150 in this game, going up against Jack Bowerman here, who is a 1250. So pretty even match, but a slight underdog status for Dr. Bonertron here. We got the big orange man here with Marksman Spesh going into sledges and more marksman and picking up some crawlers as our early chaff. Going against Jack Bowerman, the quick supply specialist with the steel balls. So when we see quick supply with steel balls, we got to be considering a very likely aggro play. So certainly one tip to be aware of is when you're expecting aggro as a realistic possibility, we want to centralize our units because we're not sure which side is going to get attacked hard, right? Because in this situation now, Orange Man has such a long travel path to get into the fight. So at least for round one, if everything is centralized, we have shorter paths regardless of which side the enemies come from. And then another thing I'm noticing is with the sledgehammers, one of the pro tips is when you know that the enemy is starting with steel balls, do not do horizontal sledgehammers. You want to go for vertical sledgehammers so that when the balls here come in, they first attack the first sledgehammer in front. They kill it off, then the second one, then the third one, then the fourth one. That is significantly slower than in a horizontal where the four balls can come in and they each attack one of them at a time and quickly wipe all of them out simultaneously. So when we see the opponent with opening steel balls and we have opening sledges, we should put them in a vertical formation nearly every single time. Okay, let's keep going here. Obviously, round one, going into a quick supply special, it's going to be very hard to win against it. It's certainly an interesting setup. I don't really see marksman versus quick supply all that often. It's two of the highest tempo sort of specialists. So both of them really benefit from getting quick wins early on and trying to spiral out of control before the opponent has a chance to really catch up and adjust accordingly. And then enemy here is putting some crawlers in the back just as some late chaff and preventing any cheese here. So yeah, Orange Man way out of position here, so not really getting the benefit. So here's the example. See the steel balls, they're wiping out multiple sledgehammers at a time here, significantly faster than it would be if they were in a vertical formation. So that is certainly one of the takeaways we're going to have. So yeah. Alright, so this should be a win for quick supply, unless Orange Man... Ooh. Maybe Orange Man gets to be a hero, actually. It's going to come down to the engagements here. Just the timing. Is it going to be just enough? Okay. That's a lot of crawlers, but... Alright, let's get to the end of the round here. Alright, effectively a draw. Okay, round two. Alright, let's pause here. So, knowing that the opponent is going aggro, we have to be really cognizant of Strike Specialist being a very likely option, given aggro players love to flank. It's part of the strategy. Pull, you know, he might put some crawlers back here, pull these guys away, and then the steel balls get in really quickly, even if they're not planned to be there long term. Or you could do Strike Specialist in response and throw punches his way and give him something to respond to. So Strike Specialist is certainly one that's on the table for both sides. Shield airdrop, we're not doing that into steel balls. The steel balls will chew through the shield without much effort. Improve firepower control and heavy armor, they're okay. If you put it on some of the sledges, it wouldn't be horrible. Heavy armor, not so much, just because the steel balls will chew through it. So, I mean, if you are going to pick one of these, it's probably the improved firepower control. But, okay, you're going... All right, so the aggro player is going strike special, and you're going improved firepower control. Okay, he's early levels on the steel balls are something to be really concerned about. We need to have chaff to get in the way of the steel balls, because right now the enemy's big weakness is he has no chaff clear, really. Not a fan of improved firepower control on the orange man, just because he shoots so slowly and he's already doing enough damage to one-shot all the early game units. You would be better off putting it on some sledgehammers, given they shoot more frequently, so you'd get more value out of it. I do like getting the additional crawlers as chaff to get in the way of the balls. Rhino here is going to be pretty annoying here. He's going double Rhino round 2. Okay. Where is the opponent going to put this? Let's maybe speed it up a little bit. Oh, wow. Double Rhino flanks. But certainly don't see that every day, especially on round 2. Hyper aggressive play. But see, it's doing exactly as it's intended. It's pulling all the units out of the way to give a wide open path to the balls to get through. Like, the point of the Rhinos wasn't to get kills. It was just to be a distraction, because the steel balls are the real carry unit in this strategy currently. But yeah, we're seeing here, he's leaving the tower open, so we got to be thinking, next turn, thinking about Stormcaller cheese, right? Where we place a Stormcaller here, it gets a volley off and gets a quick tower kill, and then the next round you just sell the Stormcallers just to throw him off his game and get some tempo back on your own. You get an easy round win, stop his units from getting easy levels and having them spiral out of control. So, yeah. But there's nothing to worry about. I mean, you know, when you're going up against an aggro player, that's pretty normal in the early rounds. Like, the aggro player is going to get some early wins. That's pretty typical. It's how you bounce back from it. Let's take an in-depth look at these. Elite Hacker certainly intrigues me as a Rhino and Steel Ball counter, provided that you have good enough chaff clear for it. I mean, the sledges are okay at chaff clear. It's like, the thing about the sledgehammer is it's a jack of all trades, master of none. If you're going to go Elite Hacker, we're going to need to really improve the chaff clear to make it work. And then, of course, the Hacker is such a high-risk, high-reward unit, so we'll see how that goes. Deploy module, I would anticipate the enemy would be probably picking this up, putting it on one of the Rhinos, and then moving it elsewhere, just to be really annoying. Moving it all over the place. So that's what I would anticipate is most likely. Or he goes deploy Spesh as the long-term pick. So yeah, you're going Elite Hacker. That's fine. Are you going to put it to deal with the back Rhino? Okay, enemy did go for deploy module, like I imagined. Okay, kind of splitting the difference, so we could do either Rhino. Okay, what else are we purchasing here? Okay, so you're out of cash, which makes sense. I'm sure that was an expensive hacker. Okay, enemy goes into Whirlwind on the Rhinos, so little risky to be so committed to the Rhino so early, especially seeing that Elite Hacker card come out. In my opinion, I would not put a tech on the Rhinos. I would want to see if the Elite Hacker was coming out first, because if it doesn't, then I can consider it. Otherwise, you know, you're stuck with the Rhinos now, essentially. All right, he's putting this Rhino in the back, I guess, to help defend this tower, and maybe trying to get you to overcommit to a solution over there. Okay, he's going with Mustangs in the corner in the back. I guess that's anti-flank, anti-air, which that's another thing to consider, is like if he goes Wasps right now, it'd be pretty devastating. It would distract your marksman pretty significantly, so it's just something to be cognizant of. Yeah, we're gonna get the good Rhino steel here. And regarding teching of units, I would say ever since the free unit era began, it's generally best practice to not give any techs to units until the first card drop round. Just so that, you know, if an obvious counter comes up, you don't get screwed over by it. For example, like you don't go into replicate crawlers on round 2, and then round 3 a free Vulcan comes up and just wipes them out for the rest of the game, right? So, but yeah, obviously the hacker did a great job stealing the Rhino. That's going to steal all the momentum now as a great counter to both the Rhino and Steel Ball, so I love that play. It's certainly high risk, but it's getting high reward right now. And speaking of the unit drop round, let's take a peek at this one. Oh, you went really fast. So we got Badgers and Wasps coming out. What I said about Wasps just before remains the same. You're very vulnerable to the Wasps right now. And that's exactly why the enemy's going to put them here. Interesting that an aggro player does not run jump drive. That's the typical Wasp technology you'd expect from an aggro player. So he keeps moving the Wasps around, so you can't, you know, like the moment you put Mustangs here, he'll jump drive the Wasps here and mobile beacon them to the tower and play all sorts of mind games with you for only 50 credits. But without the tech, this is such a huge commitment. Okay, he's at least going into the shields, so you can't just place missiles every round to wipe them out. So yeah, so the enemy can move this Rhino around wherever he wants. I like the Fire Badgers so that you can, the idea being you dominate chaff clear. But yeah, we need to be able to respond to the steel balls more efficiently. I mean, we're going to once the hacker gets on them, but in the meantime, see, there's just not enough chaff in front, so the steel balls get to the sledges right away. And then once they're in, it's pretty hard to get from there. And obviously, the Wasps are a big, big, big problem this round. So the enemy did a good job seeing what you were potentially weak to and picking the best option of those free cards. So just something to be cognizant of is when we're in those unit selection rounds, I generally prefer to think about what does my enemy want first before what do I want, and that helps not only justify my choice, but then also what units I pick afterwards to help counter what his most reasonable options are. So yeah, this is good aggro play on his part. He's keeping you on your toes. Let's go back here, pause. Tech Special is the good long-term play. Laser sights on the hacker would be pretty good, I would imagine. An underground threat in the back could be interesting, just to, well, maybe not with Rhino and Mustang, maybe not as much, but, or even up here, just to have additional chaff would be pretty good. Heavy armor could be interesting as well, but it would have to be something that's safe from the steel balls. So I would say, I would go maybe Tech Special or iron sights on this hacker, or iron sights, laser sights on that hacker. And we need chaff in the front here. All right, this is the key problem. That's why these steel balls are getting in. We need like some fangs up here, or crawlers, and then dedicated chaff clear, which you had with the Badgers, but now they're distracted by these crawlers in the back. So we probably want to go, if it was my turn in this situation, I'd probably go Badger here and then do like a mass recruit and go like Fang, something like that. And then go upgrades from there. But also, let's see here. Orange Man, oh, okay. Orange Man's doing okay. Another thing I want to note, hackers and marksmen are an anti-synergy. So I would actually very seriously consider selling the marksman and moving his item onto the hacker, whichever hacker is the more important one, because with the attack item, it actually gets the hacks done faster. Just because what will often happen is your hacker will be hacking some big unit, like a Rhino, a Giant, Steel Ball, whatever, and then Orange Man just one-shots it and wastes all that hacker's time. So just to be something to cognizant of, against giant, against like say war factories or really big giants, it's usually not a big deal. But against like these mid-sized units, that is something to be considerate of, right? Yeah, so we absolutely need to respect these wasps, especially because he cannot move them. Yeah, I mean, Mustang with anti-air, you don't need to overthink this. It's pretty rock solid. And then enemy went for the heavy armor. I would imagine he puts it on the Rhino. No, he puts it on the level 3 wasps. Okay, man, Mr. Jack Bowerman here, he is a believer in the carry wasp. Which is pretty shocking given how clearly they can be, taken out by some Mustangs. Oh man, he's already going into the ground special. I like throwing down the missile to get rid of these crawlers right away, so then that opens up the hacker to take the Rhino. It makes these Badgers turn around to focus on this area where they should be. And then the Mustangs can focus down all the wasps. So I love that. Loving this counter aggro so far. Next turn. Oh man, he's still got a level 1 tower. So we got to be thinking Stormcaller cheese. Place them here. They get their volley in. Then we get an easy tower kill and then sell it next turn. Like I said, let's see. This is the no chaff problem right here in the front. And I get it. This is a good aggro player at this level, right? He's giving you so many problems to deal with at once that it's really hard to have a good solution to all of them, right? And that's the key. That's one of the keys of being a good aggro player, is making all those problems and then also trying to get the opponent to overcommit to a solution. But that's why I'm surprised he doesn't run jump drive, because if I'm an aggro player and I'm putting all these wasps here, I make sure that one of these techs is jump drive, because then the moment you put down like 4 or 5 Mustangs, I just move them over here and then mobile beacon them to the opposite tower away from all your Mustangs. And then I put like a Vulcan here and just melt all those Mustangs you just made. And then there you go. That's how you make defensive players look silly as an aggro player. As I say, as somebody who's really bad at aggro. But no, aggro is its own skill set. Mad respect to the players who are really good at aggro. Alright, so we're still hanging on. Okay, let's... Oh, wow. Double fort. Double fort is interesting going into all these steel balls that really melt fortresses quickly. And then the enemy went really fast too. So he went for a single level 2 sandworm. I mean, yeah. I mean, sandworm is the aggro giant, so that's not too surprising. And then, okay, we're going AA on the forts. That's, yeah, I mean, we know he's hard committed into the wasps now when he's got 2 techs on him and no ability to move them. I'm not liking the idea of the fortresses when we're not dealing with the steel balls fast enough right now. Because if this was my turn, after those 2 free fortresses, if I had to do that move, Fang, Stormcaller cheese with mass recruit. Because yeah, that's the key thing here is, every single game of Mecha, you're going to need some sort of chaff in the front, just so we don't leave this wide open to an attack. Oh, interesting that he's going heavy armor on the sandworms. I mean, I get it. I mean, it's rejecting all the Mustang damage and Fire Badger damage, so only forts, marksman, and hacker can do anything, but... Still interesting, but yeah, alright, looks like the heavy armor on the wasp paying off. These wasps are doing a lot of damage. And you are respecting the wasp by going more Mustangs. Okay, see now that it's these crawlers in the back are getting in, see how much of a difference it is to have a little bit of chaff in front. I mean, we need more chaff, but this is certainly an upgrade over the prior rounds. You cut through the left side quickly. surprised that an aggro player is still leaving this tower unupgraded. I mean, if I'm aggro on this side, I need to upgrade this tower probably at least twice, but minimum once, because this is now pretty devastating for him. Okay, let's speed this up here. And it's also, I'm not really a big fan of the Sandstorm in this situation from the aggro player, right? Because I'll gladly hear other opinions in the comments on this, but I'm thinking if you're an aggro player, you don't really care about range anyway. So, like, is really reducing the opponent's range really that impactful? I don't know. Okay. Okay, looks like you're going for a barrier. That's a pretty rock-solid choice. Other than, you'd want to do it on a giant that's away from the steel ball. So maybe it's this guy in the back. Maybe, unless you pick a different giant. And then enemy also went for barrier, which, yeah, it's totally perfect. Put it on the side here. So every single round there's a barrier you got to crack through. I'm liking the Wraith with the degen beam. It's a really good counter aggro option, and also can help deal a little bit with the wasps as well. Oh man, he is all right. He's all in on these sandworms now. I don't know if I'd be pushing for a lone currently, unless there's something you just absolutely needed and you feel like you will not win the round without it. But I'm not seeing anything like that. Also, I could see Orange Man could use a nice upgrade. He's doing the most damage, so he would really benefit from the 50 credits for an upgrade, but it looks like we're not getting it. Again, Stormcaller Cheese is an option here, and some Fangs in front. And the Fangs in front as well would also help, at least distract the Wasps for a little bit too. So, yeah. Also, this game needs to be able to track stats for the hackers. It's kind of frustrating that's not the case yet, but alas. Yeah, the barrier is a perfect counter to the hacker until you break through it. Yeah, I mean, at this point, like, not only do we need to be reacting to our enemy, which is certainly important in defending aggro, but we also, just as much as that, we need to be proactive and throw some counter punches his way. Hence the Stormcaller idea. Or, let's see, did he finally upgraded this, so he can't do the Stormcaller cheese anymore. But also, even doing a flank of our own, or even a flank like on this side, like for some crawlers, or back here maybe, just to pull some of his guys away just for a little bit. Just to kind of throw, you know, throw a question his way. Make him answer something for once, instead of you having to answer every single time. Right? Yeah, so still anybody's fight, though. I mean, you're doing a good job of slowing down the bleeding. I know it looks bad. But the thing is, when you have giants on the board like this, you can absolutely do a ton of damage with one good round. Alright, Sabers, Vulcan, Typhoon, Spooters. Let me see here. I'm not liking the Sabertooth. I mean, it's got to be the Typhoons, right? With how crazy the Wasps are. I mean, I know it's I mean, typically I would say no. Because, like, oh, you have Mustangs doing the same job. But, like, look at these Mustangs. They had 9 kills last round. 21. Or, this is total, rather. 48. Like, they're not doing a great job because they're getting stuck. Yeah. So, at least we have Typhoons. They're tankier. They still shred air units. And, again, we need some chaff in front of them to protect them. I don't think we need another hacker at this time. We already have the 2. And the hackers need time to hack, and they get time when enemy chaff is in the way. an enemy anticipating that you're going to go for chaff, preemptively going for the Vulcan. At 500 health, now I do agree with taking a loan. For the rest of the game, you're going to have to take a loan every round. Just keep pushing. Economy be damned. Who cares about your economy if you're on the brink of death, right? It's not ideal. Also, I'm curious on why we've not had the budget to push these two yet. At this point in the game, we should have the attack and defense enhancements across everything. So I guess this could be a lesson also in budgeting as well, a little bit. Just being a little more cognizant of how you're spending your money. Because there's been a few rounds where you've taken loans a little early. A few where it seems like it was probably a classic situation that I ran into as I was getting started in this game, where I would buy a whole bunch of things, realize I needed something else, and then, alright, well, I guess I gotta take a loan to get it, so. And yeah, because there was no chaff in the way, the Typhoons there got wiped out pretty quickly. So, it's the ones in the back that are going to do significantly better thanks to the barrier there. Really slowing down those carry wasps. Yeah, looks like, alright, we are going to steal the sandworm there. I don't see that every day, given how often they burrow and help avoid getting hacked because of it. Yeah, is this GG? Okay, so we still got some units over here. This has got to be GG, right? Yeah, 400 from the Vulcan alone. And yeah, the crawlers aren't taking that down. Alright. Well, thank you for submitting. So, like I've pretty much talked about it throughout. We needed chaff in front of here. We should have thrown some counter punches the enemy's way. It could have been storm cheese earlier in the game, or maybe a flank throughout, or even like a one-round rhino with a mobile beacon, something just to kind of throw him off, steal some momentum his way. Then he could sell it and pivot into something else. We had the counter or anti-synergy between the marksman and the hacker. This hack, see, this is why the game needs to be able to track hacker stats, because I can't definitively show what's happening because of it, unfortunately. Yeah, obviously the wasps here were a major problem throughout. I would have we should have really considered high explosive ammo, just given how many wasps there were, and HE ammo does do a good job at dealing with them in conjunction with the AA attack. But yeah, like this Typhoon here was only getting one kill because it got wiped out by a Scorching Fire Vulcan pretty much the moment the round started, because there was no chaff in front of it. So that's that. And then also, let's see, these, yeah, I mean, these sledges did okay. But like, look at the difference between the ones on the left and the right in statistics. And I get it, one's getting attacked right away, the other one isn't. But a lot of that is coming down to the steel balls getting in. So we want to do vertical formation sledgehammers when we know the enemy has steel balls as a way to slow them down. All right, I will try to take over and see if I can turn this around. So I don't think I'm going to be able to win the game on this one, but let's take a look here. So you're at negative 1365. I don't remember what your health was going into it, but just want to at least have a general idea. So I will take over here. All right, so we're definitely going the Typhoons again. We have to go the air special. And see, we can't missile the crawlers anymore, so I don't get the stats either when I do this. So let's first get that and that. Let's also get this to slow the balls down. Let's go Fang Fang. I mean, I know the Vulcan's coming, but I can't like cheese it. I gotta pretend like I'm actually in this situation, right? And this is a situation where it's do or die. Do I call Mech Rage on these? Just thinking here. Yeah, I'm running out of time. I don't know if Mech Rage is the right play here, but I just gotta do something. And then missile. Whatever. Alright, so we're gonna slow these guys down at least for a little bit. Have a little bit of chaff in front. But see, now the Typhoons are covered by the shield of the big lad fortress in the back here, so doing a much better job at cutting down all those wasps, especially with Mech Rage increasing their rates of fire. It's one of those things where once the wasps get out of control, you kind of have to go all in on stopping them. And yeah, this is a situation where it might just be a little too late, but I want to at least reduce the amount of damage that came your way in this situation. Because that's the thing about mecha, it's like once a unit gets out of control, the game is usually over if at a competent level. It's one of those things where this game was lost maybe a round or two ago once the wasps got out of control and weren't dealt with quickly enough. Okay, 1264, I mean, not a huge difference, but yeah, this is one where we had to deal with these wasps a little earlier. We needed chaff in front, but yeah, I mean, I went through my spiel, so I hope that was helpful for you. Keep playing Mechabellum, keep making mistakes, keep having fun, keep asking questions. Thank you for submitting on the Mechabellum Discord, Dr. Bonertron. Have a good day. Thank you.